Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Pro Wrestling Sim. And I am not going to take this long for an intro, and we're going to kind of just get into it. I kind of went over the little gist of if you were to make your own company, that you'd edit the database and all that fun jazz with, creating the name, the venue, helpful scripts that you can use, and then also you can have titles, tag teams that you can make. You can make your own workers. You can also import the workers from the default world if you were to import them. And you can, because when you buy the game, it comes with a default world. And then you can also, make your own titles, make your own events, or have it made based off of the population of your company. So it's like if you're starting from ground zero, which is what I'm doing, it's probably going to be once a month, unless if you manually put it in saying that, hey, you want it weekly or you want it monthly or annually, so to speak. So, and that all can get deleted throughout the game. If you were to do it automatically, like you can delete the events and then change it. Like you can delete all the events because it will plan out a year in advance. So, and then it'll set that for whatever day specific, monthly, but it will be yearly because it will take a calendar year to get back to that event again. Like it will say, if you were WWE, like Clash of Champions, like a pay-per-view or something like that, it will have that event and then it will say annually because you'll have to wait until the next calendar year, and it will just, simulate that each event is going to be the same name yearly. So, but you can always change it. Say, like, the first year you have a Clash of Champions, but then, the next year you want to change it and be Clash of Wrestlers. So, you can change it however you want throughout time. But that being said, we're going to start a new game. And then it also loads all of your databases. So, like, a world at war is, it already has, top workers and stuff like that already in it, and it has these promotions already built into it that are active. So if they're active, they'll be in the top promotions, and then I'll give a little snippet of it and where they're based off of. So like this one, when you select a promotion, it will tell you. So this is like based off of the a world at war, like the database, like what is the description of it. I was kind of reading it and I was kind of thinking that it was like the top promotion, but no, you have to select. When you select a promotion, it will tell you what the top workers are, the championships if there have any, and where it's based off of. Like Pro Wrestling Japan, I would imagine it's in Japan. And then Asia Ring Compact, it would be in Asia. And then Aztec Lucha Libre, it could be in the United States, but with Lucha Libre being in Mexico, and that's their style of wrestling, that it would be in Mexico. And then vice versa, like there's multiple promotions here. And like Titans of Wrestling, I think, is in the United States. And then you got the British Championship Wrestling in the UK, England, and such as that. And then you have like Lucha USA, so it is in the USA. But they're trying to advertise, hey, Lucha Libre wrestling there. So those would be the promotions when they're active. But we are going to go to the United States YT series, which is the series I am going to be doing, and the only active promotion we have is my promotion, because I showed last video. It was a very long video. I apologize, but I just wanted to show, the details of how to create a promotion and the, behind the scenes before starting to make a game and stuff, and just showing people around all different parts of this game. But if it's active, it's going to be, in the top promotion, so to speak. And in the last video, I showed Wisconsin All-Star Wrestling and Minnesota All-Star Wrestling. The Minnesota one is inactive, so that's why it's not on top of the Wisconsin All-Star Wrestling, because it goes in alphabetical order. So it would be on top. But since it's not active yet, eventually it will be active, and I'll be adding more, states to it, because it is a U.S. state war of see who can get to the top and everything, and Wisconsin is the one that I am controlling. There will be all 50 states in this, and then there's like one big one that it will be the United States one. So then we would select next, and we can either choose no promotions, we just let it run with simulation, but then you can also, throughout the simulation, you can pick one as, maybe as it develops, and you're like, let's wait the first year, see what it does, and then you're like, okay, where's the top promotion? Then you can select apply for job, and when you apply for the job, if you get accepted for it, that's your promotion that you create. So we are going to select the Wisconsin All-Star Wrestling one. So right now we have no roster, no workers. So throughout this game, we are going to, assign workers. We're going to assign announcers, referees, backstage staff. Personalities are kind of, so to speak, like enhancement talent, or, like for example in WWE, like for people like The Miz, they are more good at being talking on the mic, but how they are booked wrestling wise is not the best. But he is a decent wrestler on what he does and how he does it, but it's like in the aspect of things, that's what like personalities are. They're more of, the talkative people, maybe the managers, so to speak, of things. And then enhancement talent, I think, is more of like jobbers and stuff like that, but going to work their way up. Lower card, meaning they start the show. They're at the lowest of the totem pole, and then they have to work their way up. Mid card is, mid, obviously higher than lower card. Upper mid card is they're getting there to be, the main event, but they're not there yet. They're maybe like one or two matches below the main event, being like the second to last, or, third to last, fourth to last, match, depending on how many matches there are, and promos and stuff like that. So they're getting there, but they're not necessarily main event talent, which is the top dog of the whole entire promotion. Not necessarily getting all the championship titles, but being the main person, knowing what they're doing, and overall just, having that star power. And then tag team, since we don't have anybody, and then we do have titles that are active and stuff like that, they have it like default as like 1980. So it's like, if you see those days, I just don't change it's just default that way. I don't change it, but it is vacant, which is meaning no one's holding it. So we have 5-6 titles here. So we have the All-Star Wrestling, which is the men's heavyweight championship. We have a cruiserweight for the men's. We have a tag team for the men's, and then women's tag team and heavyweight down here. If you have any titles that you're thinking of, maybe add to this with a name, obviously, trying to not, copy, so to speak, like, the 24/7 championship and stuff like that from WWE. But if in the comment section you think of, a fun title that can be named, And it could also be for any state or whatnot, because maybe I may add like Texas or whatnot having a hardcore championship or something like that. Like some states will have it and some states won't. And then the prestige is like how high in the ranking is the championship, like 100 being, the top dog, and then getting down to like 0 is like it doesn't matter whatsoever. So the heavyweight championships I put at 100, tag teams at like 60, and then I kept the cruiserweight at 50. And then storylines are like who's in what feud and stuff like that, relationships, who has a connection with who, calendar wise, live show, it'll be monthly, and then any news, is there anything involving with the promotion and stuff like that. There is game modes to this as well, that you can enable amnesia mode and level playing field. In this mode, you have 30 popularity, $1 million, no network deals, and you work your way on a level playing field with everyone else. Or amnesia mode, every owner has amnesia. This game begins with no active contracts and begins a mad dash to nab the best people. So I would imagine like this is like you start from the bottom, which is already what I'm doing. And I'm going to put my name in here. Okay. Kind of looks weird. So I'm going to do that as the same as the save name. I am male. And they, if you plan to be a female or, not identify anything, you can do that. But I am a male. So then you start the game. And so as this seems to look, that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it seems it has 6 up until, June. What I would imagine there would be more. Which I could check to see. Let's see here in events. For Saturday, monthly, I put it at 3 hours. It probably should go down to 2, but 3 hours being, good for a monthly show, getting the best stars, getting the best angles for characters and wrestlers. So it must show like the first 6 months, and then eventually it will show the other 6 months because it is monthly. So we're just going to save it real quick. And I just put it as a live show. If you have any, suggestion in the comment section to change the live show, feel free to put that in the comments and I'll take it for consideration. Venues, are we good? So we have that. Yeah, I'm just checking stuff out real quick before we sim to the next day, and then we are getting some people. I think within this episode you'll see a little bit of me signing some people, and maybe also possibly pre-booking the show. Because we have until the 23rd of January, which is 22 days away, and so there's nobody in the system. There's no workers that I can sign, because if I were to try to do all workers, there's no one there, because I didn't import anything. So there would be workers here, and they would show with their names here, since I have it all randomized, and it will be a high population, so a lot of people will show. They will show up their name, what type of wrestler they are, if they are lucha libre, traditional sports entertainment, kind of like a personality type, their experience, which if I sim to the next day, what I think I've seen from playing it a couple of times is that it says less than a year. So we're starting from scratch with everybody, even with announcers and stuff like that. Maybe a few will pop that they've been in the field for a few years, and it's like, okay, we want to gear those for like veteran stuff to help elevate. And then the type is what person they are. So if they're a wrestler, announcer, personality, all that fun jazz, backstage staff, refereeing, and then the style is like the lucha libre and traditional sports entertainment, so to speak, with those different types of wrestling. And then their current status, what their status is, if they're active, inactive, their fatigue, and then what gender they are, their age, their height, their weight, their build, based in, which is where they're from, whether if they're from Asia, like Japan, Asia, Europe, North America, South America, Europe, Oceania, and then what their ethnic group is, the country, so to speak, or, if they're Hispanic, white, all those different groups, and then also known as like their alter egos. What are their other names that they have for themselves? And then you got your mail. There's no mail, so there's like no emails. This is what you'd get for your interface. That the production levels that I have set as a standard. That our wellness policy is a full-scale drug testing. There was full-scale, there was small-scale, random, like random sample, small sample, large, and then you can, if you want to test for steroids, soft drugs, hard drugs, they were like kind of click, so to speak, like fill in the blank. So like if you click on a box, it will check mark it and you can click out of it. And then you can failure, response, you can choose. I would imagine this is what you can choose as an action for a consequence if they choose not to. Maybe if they choose not to, or that they failed the test and they've tested positive for these things. And then the worker pool, you can set it for wrestlers only, staff only, or everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. For this, we're going to do wrestlers only for right now. Maybe eventually down the line, we're going to do everybody. But for me, I am doing wrestlers only. And then there's no active storylines and there's no recent shows to go based off of popularity and everything else. So, since there's none of that, there's no history, there's no event histories, there's no awards and rankings. You can do my promotion and see all this stuff like brands, storylines, stables, which is more than a tag team, which could be like 3 to 4, maybe 5 people. Your titles, your tournaments, your win-loss rankings, events, network deals, finances, merchandise, production, all that nature. And then your settings, you can go edit the database throughout the game, open settings, modify skin, and stuff like that. But I think we are ready, since everything is kind of set, to sim to the next day and start hiring some people. I think in this episode I will show a little bit of hiring, and then in the next episode will be the first event. So the next day. So we have, these people entering in the world. So you'll have all these people, and so what we can do is go to all workers, and now, like I said, they're going to be their experience level less than a year, because everyone is starting, and their style is right there, and if they're active, there's no fatigue, male, their age, above average. Their weight there is nothing, but they're skinny. They're from North America, and then it also gives little description, what their kind of attributes, so to speak. So like for this person, Elvin is driven to be the best. There's also like money driven. There's kind of like keywords for like being a safety hazard and stuff like that. And then you have all of these attributes, like these skills and everything. So like start power, he's a 51. So I would imagine a 51 is like a lower mid card to upper mid card, so to speak, but towards the lower end. And it would be a lot different than this 93, where a 93 is kind of like, a main event person. So going towards that main event title, and then their conditions and everything are down here, and their popularity of where they have the most pop and everything. So with her, she's based in Europe. That apparently she doesn't have the most population in Europe, that it's in Latin America and Oceania. But in Europe and Asia, she has a good, decent population with 16 and 17 in Europe and Asia, and then 2 in North America. So, but hopefully, if we were to sign her, which I feel like we are going to, driven by a love of fun. So we are going to sign this woman. Yeah, she identifies as a female. She's 30 years old. We're going to sign her and kind of go for the main event contract. So we're going to begin negotiations. So within this interface, so to speak, that we can make it 1 day, 1 week, 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180 days, being 4 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I think I'm going to set everybody to roughly 180 days, 4 months, seeing where it's going, because eventually, like, if it doesn't plan out, I am not holding them for a long period of time. And when I play the game for testing and whatnot, if you put it indefinite, like there's no way out for them, like their contract is sealed and whatnot, and we could move from this person completely. Yeah, she has a 93 star power, with that popularity being decent to regions, but it may not be the best for my promotion. So we're gonna do 180 days, meaning 4 months, or yeah, because 30 days is 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. 6 months. So we'll do 6 months. That way we get a grasp of what they are as an athlete, and we're not gonna hire everybody, so to speak. Like, I'm not gonna grab everybody and see like, okay, where can you fit, where can that person fit. Like, we're gonna get a grasp of maybe since we have 2 titles for the women's, the tag team and the heavyweight, that we may get 4 or 5 girls when it comes to I would say up to like 4 that are like individually driven, and then we'll try and get maybe 2 tag teams or 3 tag teams for like the tag team division, but we can all interchange the single matchups into tag teams as well and see how that goes too. So since she is driven to be a love of fun, we're gonna kind of keep her as a face, so to speak. But we can always change that throughout time. We can change the push and stuff like that. Like, her push is a main event, because she does have that star power. So by love of fun, we're gonna do like these are the different type of settings and character sets that you can choose from. Like some of them are like the millionaire is a heel, so then it requires entertainment skill, which she is lacking a little bit at 24, but obviously this is for it's preferred to be for a heel and not a face, so I wouldn't necessarily put it onto her since she is a face. But it's slow popularity loss, as one of the maybe cons of the whole thing. And then there's talking angle and video angle boost, so that is a pro and added cost, an extra 1,000 per show they appear on in order to appear wealthy within that, so to speak, character. And like a monster, there's preferred none, so it could either be a face or a heel. And so, I mean, her style is a brawler, and she is ripped. So it's like we could put a monster, and it'd be a fast popularity gain as a pro, slow popularity loss as a pro as well. And then it also requires intimidation. Well, does she have? She has 0 intimidation, so it wouldn't work, but it's like she does have that ripped, so to speak, body type. So we'll see. Not necessarily a patriot, so to speak, but it may just be a wholesome face where they're just like a classic old school baby face, slow popularity gain and slow popularity loss. So that's what we're gonna do. And then for this, we are gonna do traveling expenses for that person because it's non-negotiable. We will do no house shows, so they don't have to do the house shows. They're able to, view to any angles or match results since they are the main event, so to speak, person, and they have the best star power. I feel like they should have a say in what they are doing. Obviously, we can veto that, but I feel like it's best that they have a say in what they're doing in a match, maybe the results or what kind of match they want. No house shows for sure. That way they're just only for, our shows and not, backstage, live shows somewhere else. Wage matching I am not going to do because they are only going to be here for 6 months. So I won't do any of that because that can get a little dicey that, oh, this person has more money than I do, so I want to, get that money as well. So then it's like you have to increase it, otherwise they could leave your promotion. And so what we're going to do is make the offer and hopefully they accept. And your offer was accepted. So now they are, if we were to go to promotion and we go to roster, they are in our roster. And if we were to go to all work or our office, where can we see it? If we see like, if we don't have brands, I'm trying to, my promotion, where was it? Development, storylines, events. Because I know there was a way that you could see it like through that big chart when you saw that there was main event, lower mid card, development. Yeah. I totally. We try to go to edit database and So we got one contract, brands, relationship, overview. Huh. It's like, I would be in this game and you'd be like, well, shouldn't you know? Ah, okay. So we go to all promotions. Gotcha. So we go to all promotions and then you can do cards, you can do a table. Looks pretty nice. Where it shows their population and stuff like that. Is that their like wrestling, so to speak, overall? And it's a 47. I mean that's pretty cool to have that. But yeah, then you'll see that their contract is for main event, and their age, their height is average, and their role is a face. Now, throughout time, obviously, I'm not going to go through every single negotiation here, but just showing this is the start of it, and I just wanted to show you on, the gist of getting into the game. And you can always quit the job if you truly wanted to, but obviously I'm not going to quit the job. And so her contract, so if we see on the tier, now if we were to go to roster contracts right here, so it shows, know-how shows creative control, travel expenses are paid for, and that expiry has no expiry, even though I set it for 180 days. But also this game is updating because the developer, wants to add more features. It's been adding more features. This game was kind of like an early access. It's still as an early access, even though like in Discord or whatnot that the developer was like, yay, I get to take it out of early access. I still think it is. It's still under kind of what development, so to speak. Like, it is a workable game. It's a great game to play with, and things are updating as people are suggesting features and everything else. And so a lot of this is kind of fairly new to me a little bit. So because I kind of was playing this game when I first bought it, like back in maybe the beginning of 2022 and stuff like that. Touched it a little bit, and then touched it like maybe a month or two ago, and things have changed like a little bit. So and now I wanted to create a series on it, and so here we are. There's their contract. There should be an expiration date, so to speak. I wonder if I simulate to the next day, but I want to add a few workers before I simulate to the next day, and get main eventers, lower mid cards, announcers, referees, and I won't do all the have you be bored of your mind of seeing all the negotiations, but I'll go through one more negotiation while we're at it. And then the next time you'll see this is I've established a decent roster for a certain amount of time that should work for the 6 months, since I'm doing 180 days for the contracts, and then see where it goes, whether it be the money will go down a little bit, but see if it will work its way back up, or overall we're going to gain population from it, and yet our money is going down. So, and I don't have a big sports hall. It's like 500 people that can go in it, so we'll see how the ticket sales go. We'll see how the events and how booking the first show I'll show you guys too as well. So we'll see how the first event goes, population wise, and overall money that we get from ticket sales and everything else. And hopefully it works its way up. And then after the 6 months, I will add Minnesota that you saw already in the game and whatnot, that I've been making that right away, so that way I can add that on. And then after 6 months, I will add, whether it be, maybe a different state. It may not necessarily be in chronological order of where they're bordering, and it may just be a totally different state like New York. But eventually all 50 states will be in this game, and it will be a battle to who has the best promotion, so to speak, and if I can keep it with the star power or if I can't. But looks like Aaron here has 95, so he's below average, he's muscular, he's mixed, driven to be the best, South America. He's 20 years old, so that is a good age. That way he's young. We can develop him a little bit. He's got 25 in Latin America, 20 in Oceania and Africa, 20 South America. So Latin America, he would have, that's South America, he would have a little bit of that. So we are gonna begin negotiations with Aaron. So he has star power. He has 36 intimidation. We'll do that, and we'll do creative know-how shows, paper appearances. Pretty nice at $291. We're gonna keep him as a face. Not do necessarily a wholesome face, but maybe an underdog. But it's wrestling skill, psychology, stamina. Maybe we'll do an underdog. Put him as an underdog or a patriot. Not a lovable loser, not an evil foreigner. Comedy character, cocky, plus kill, badass. And his stamina is medium, so I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, he could be an athlete. Match boost requires wrestling skill. He has a 48 wrestling skill, but then he's like losing popularity slowly. So what I'm gonna do is put him as a patriot. But he's low on entertainment skill. But he can work on that throughout. So he needs at least 70, so that won't work for him. So we're gonna choose. Requires low intimidation. It's less than 70 intimidation. He has 36. So we'll do underdog for him. Slow popularity loss. I mean, that's the only bummer, but it's going to be main event. His contract 190 days. Traditional style. He's seems to be pretty decent on popularity. He's muscular. Below average height. Doesn't give a weight, so can't necessarily say maybe being a cruiserweight or something, but we'll make an offer, and he accepts the offer. So we have two people now on our roster. We have Aaron Carrasco, and then we have Anna Becker on our roster. So I'm going to end the video here. So you've seen two negotiation deals with people that have way high star power to be in the main event. Still gotta get a referee, maybe two announcers, backstage staff, and more wrestlers. So I we'll catch you on the next one. And on the next one, we'll be looking at the roster, female, male wise, and book our first show. So, hopefully you have a good rest of your day, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and if you are returning and watching this episode, thank you for watching, and there will be more videos to come on this U.S. States series on Pro Wrestling Sim from Steam.